Right. First off, I apologize for this week's video, and especially my voice. I'm sick. I'm dying of the plague or something over here. You're just going to have to deal with it. However, that's not going to keep us from talking about this. Atari, you say to yourself. Nostalgic. And it is. You'd be excused for thinking that this is a tchotchke made to look like an Atari 2600 joystick. And, in a way, you'd be right. You might also be interested to know that it's very small. It's got the footprint about the same as a book of matches. It even comes attached with a keychain clip, though I can only imagine how fast you'd break it if you actually tried to use it on a real keychain. On the other side, there's this little jack, and then the game starts to give itself away. The more sage among you are nodding your heads and stroking your chins at this point. This is, indeed, a gaming device. Plug it into a TV with the included cable, and this tiny trinket actually plays 2 classic Atari titles. Sort of. There are, however, some problems. For a start, this little trinket's cute, but you'd wonder where the batteries go. And you'd wonder for a good reason, because they don't go on the stick. They go on the cable, in this enormous box. It takes 3 AAAs. There's another problem with this. The box needs to be attached to the unit. The box weighs about 10 times more than the unit, and the box is on the side of the cables that has this very short run to your television. There's a second problem. The entire length of cable between the box and the unit is about as long as my outstretched arms. Maybe 3.5 feet. That's it. Because of the absurdly short length of the cable of this thing, it's obviously designed to be plugged into a modern television that's got front composite ports. So, you go to the front panel on your television, and you plug it in. Right. So, if you're a Luddite like me, you go around to the back of your TV to plug the unit in. But this presents yet another problem. The box is a scant couple of inches away from the connectors to your television, and the power switch is on the stupid box. So where do you put the box? Behind your TV. But it gets better. I'm plugged in and ready to play. But look, I'm not doing this for any kind of cinematography purpose. This is absolutely as far away from my television as I can get with this stupid thing. Look, this is the end of the wire, right here, because it has to go all the way around back behind my TV. This whole thing is less than 4 feet long. What were they thinking? So if we want to play, I've got to climb back behind my TV and over my PlayStation and all this other bullshit and find this little tiny power switch that you need a fingernail to click on. And it doesn't frickin' work. Well, here's why. Look at this. The plug popped out. But it does this all the time. If you just nudge it, it pops out. If you squeeze the controller the wrong way, it pops out. Just this little fraction of an inch. That's enough to make it stop working. If you twist the cable wrong, it pops out. If you look at it funny, it pops out. This is stupid. Hang on. I've decided I'm going to cheat. I'm going to put the box right here, and I'm going to plug this silly thing right into my TV capture card. Furthermore, we're going to fix our little cable problem here. Ha! See? Good old American ingenuity like that is how our boys won the war. When you turn the miniature Atari on, you get this Basic Fun logo. Who the heck is Basic Fun? I don't know. Apparently they're the people Atari contracted out to do this. Here we have our menu, and we've got our 2 little games. Alright, let's check out a personal favorite game of mine, Asteroids. Alright. Game mode, rotate ship, thrust, hyperspace, shields, flip, diff A off, on, diff B off, on. What? I don't know. Let's just hit fire to start. Alright, this sort of looks like the Atari Asteroids, but it's not. Everything's the wrong scale. The rocks aren't moving as smoothly as they should. This obviously isn't an Atari conversion. This is some kind of port. I mean, the ship's color is wrong. This is as fast as I can move. I'm mashing up right now. That's all my ship's doing. Well, at least it's playable. What the hell was that? Note how when the rocks reach the top boundary of the screen, up right below my score and lives, they just disappear. And when the rocks are moving down, instead of smoothly scrolling onto the screen to give you a warning of where they're going to be, they just pop up. and you're dead. Alright, on the right side of the screen here I have our little Atari keychain playing Asteroids, and I've split it down the middle. On the left is an actual Atari 2600 playing the actual version of Asteroids for the Atari. Notice the difference between the two. The Atari version is so much smoother, so much faster paced, and it has a lot less bugs. I mean, okay, the 2600 version of Asteroids probably wasn't the best arcade conversion on the face of the earth, but it wasn't a bad port. I mean, why does this nostalgia-laden modern port have to be so much worse even than the original was? I mean, people from newer generations who are going to be experiencing these Atari games for the first time, they shouldn't have to walk away with the impression that the games were even crappier than they actually were. I really would have loved to have a little tiny portable version of Asteroids I could carry around with me. Unfortunately, if that's the fix you're looking for, this little keychain really isn't your ticket. This version of Asteroids is bad. Really bad. Like, probably not even worth the $5 I paid for this thing bad. So let's take a look at Millipede and see if that's any better. Luckily this version is a little bit more true to the original Atari version. You even get the select starting score thing down in the corner when you start a new game that nobody could figure out then, and I sure as hell can't figure out now. I do notice that the game's missing a lot of sound effects, and its pace is a lot different. The control is much more awkward than the original too, but that's mostly the fault of this stupid little keychain joystick, which isn't very responsive and isn't very accurate. I guess this is an okay conversion of the game. It's still obviously a conversion, but it's better than Asteroids was. The one thing I noticed that really miffs me is when you die in the original game, it does this really cool machine gun fire thing as all the mushrooms on the screen regenerate. But in this version, you don't get that. This is the closest facsimile you get. Otherwise, there's not a whole heck of a lot I can say about this port. I mean, yeah, it's still a port, it's not the true original, but it's an okay port, and since I can't rip the game too much of a new one, I guess there's not really a whole lot that you're interested in to hear about it. Despite being billed as quote-unquote authentic Atari games, the games included in this thing are obviously ports. And I took the machine apart, and what's inside isn't a little tiny modern miniaturized Atari, as you might hope. It's actually a little tiny modern miniaturized NES on a chip. Yeah, same thing that shows up in umpteen other made-in-Taiwan pirate bootleg consoles that crop up at flea markets and on shady eBay dealers and stuff. In the end, I'm wondering kind of what good this thing is for. I mean, it really is a technological accomplishment. It really is a working gaming device and a thing that's, well, it's only this big. So is it good? Not really. Is it fun? For maybe 30 seconds. Is it practical? No. Is it economical? Of course not. Is it a huge technological leap? No, it's not that either. But is it weird? Well, yeah, it's definitely weird. And you can't say we ever promised you anything more than that.
Hello, it's Redman here. Today, I'll be beating up on PlayStation games instead of picking on my poor NES. And out of the multitude of classic titles for that system, I've narrowed my focus... Shit, I fucked that up real bad. Hey, it's Redman here. Today, I'll be beating up on PlayStation games instead of picking on my poor NES. And out of the multitude of classic titles there are for that system, I've narrowed my focus to Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And just to make sure that I don't overwork myself too hard, I'm going to focus on a single glitch, and that's the Sword Brothers money glitch. We'll start the video standing outside of the shop in the library. On the inventory you'll notice that we have a single onyx ring. Don't equip this just yet. When you walk in, perform the Sword Brothers attack and immediately walk over to the librarian's desk. From the Sell Gem menu, press Start to bring up the Pause menu. From there, we want to equip the single onyx ring to any open slot. Then we sell it. When we return to the menu, we notice that suddenly there are 255 onyx rings in our inventory. Leave everything as it is, and return to the main shop menu. When you go back into the sell menu, you can suddenly sell 255 rings, and get lots and lots and lots of money for it.
It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
You can see that just from selling the onyx rings you make well over 700,000 gold. Sell them all, as the one you keep equipped will stay in your inventory. This time, exit the shop and enter the pause menu again and unequip the single onyx ring. Exit the pause menu. Perform the Sword Brothers again, triggering the librarian immediately once more. and repeat the glitch ad infinitum, or at least until you get 999,999 gold.